Hi everybody. Hello, hello. Am I visible and audible? Hi everyone. Can you see me? Can I talk to you? Hunter Beast. Krishna Chaitanya. Yes, we have a class today. Bashira, hi. Rohit, please conduct a chit chat session where everybody can share their experiences, including, just a second, let me read it please. Including everyone can, including their mistakes. Yes, that's interesting. We will do it. We will do it in the application. It's easy for us to do in the application. Vanakkam, Arjun, Namaskar. How are you guys doing? How is the overall weekend? Congratulations on India's victory in T20. Welcome. Malaikum Assalam. Ashraf Saab. Sab khairiyat? Good evening. Aram se tashrif rakhiye. We will start talking. Right. So did you guys complete whatever we have discussed till now? And how many of you are new today? Yes, you can join. You can join. Not a problem. You can join today's session. Today's session is relevant. It is useful. So you can happily join today's session. Okay. Maths and all, we will talk about it at the end of the session. So you guys completed whatever we have discussed, microeconomics and all, you are done with it, or you are absolutely new today. See, even if you are absolutely new today, it's okay. You will understand everything. Stay for 5-10 minutes. You will get on track. Don't worry about it. Today is a completely independent and fresh topic. So you will not miss anything. And it is good, right? So please tell me, whatever you have studied from economics, whatever you have studied, are you good at what you have studied till now? Like you're done with the overall practice part? Hello. Chandu cheppandi. Chandu cheppandi. Okay, it could be my problem, no problem. Okay, I'll take care. Yeah, you're done with everything or completely new? See, if you're absolutely new, stay with me for 10-15 minutes, you'll understand everything. Alright, in today's class, we are going to discuss 5-year plans. Okay, we will talk about 5-year plans. So please tell me, what do you know about 5-year plans? Before I start with the class, what do you know about 5-year plans? Yes, those who are absolutely new, very good, no problem. Hi everyone, please tell me, let us start discussing and tell me, what do you know about 5-year plans all in all? What have you studied? What do you know about 5 in all? CGL expected month, I answered this in the morning, no? Let's stick to the same answer. Government goals for the coming 5 years, very good. Planning body, 5-year plans, now it is Niti Aayog. Okay, any other interesting answer? So please tell me, we took the idea of 5-year plans from USSR, very good, okay. Comprehensive economic program set specific developmental targets, nice, absolutely good. Rapid transformation or growth, right. So prima facie, it looks like you know what is 5-year plans, and in today's discussion, we will talk whatever is necessary to handle various types of questions that they ask from 5-year plans. So before we proceed towards the topic, these are the types of questions that they're asking you. For example, they're asking you what are the objectives of 5-year plans. That's the first type of question. What are the objectives? For example, they'll give you third 5-year plan and they will ask you what are the objectives. Or they might give you what is 7th 5-year plan. They will ask you what are the objectives. They might ask you what is the focus of a particular plan. First plan, what is the focus, etc. And there are questions on planning commission. There are also questions on National Developmental Council. Okay, there are questions on National Developmental Council. Then they're asking you chronology. For example, third 5-year plan, which year? Or rolling plan, which year? Plan holiday, which year? So these are the types of questions that they're asking you. Then they're also asking you personalities. For example, as far as personalities are concerned, we have people such as, let's say, PC Mahalanobis. Then we have Jawaharlal Nehru. We have some people who are associated with it, okay? So they're asking you about the people that are there. Then they're asking you schemes. For example, under a particular 5-year plan, some scheme is being introduced, okay? Let's say it could be Rural Employment Guarantee Program, or it could be Minimum Needs Program, 20-point program. So as a part of each 5-year plan, Every 5-year plan, Government of India came up with some or the other schemes. So they are asking questions on the types of schemes. Next, they are asking economic models. So the 5-year plans are based on two different economic models. One is called as Harrod-Dahmer model. The other is Mahalanobis model. So they are asking you questions on those two models, and at times they can ask you what is the focus of a particular plan also. So these are various types of questions, and we will start talking about, in the first place, what was the need for 5-year plans and why we needed 5-year plans in the first place. Okay, so what happened was India got independence in the year 1947, right? India got independence in the year 1947, and when India got independence, India had got certain problems. In the entire colonial period, the first major problem that we had was we did not have good industries. Industrial development was very limited. We did not have enough industries in India. That's the first problem. Whatever industries are there, all those industries were small industries. They did not have any capital, and we were majorly importing things from Britain. This was industrial sector problem. Similarly, if you take up the problems of agricultural sector, even in agricultural sector also, agriculture, there is no growth. Overall production was completely stagnant. No new food production was going on. Nothing new was going on. Okay, and all in all, country had a lot of poverty. There was poverty, agriculture was not there, industries were not there. This was the overall situation of India. And in this entire scenario, the Prime Minister of India and obviously Government of India sat and they thought, how can we take our economy together and what shall we do so that we can ensure economic progress happens. And the other problem was, along with economic progress, we want balanced development, because in the entire country what happened is, when British was ruling India, British focus was primarily on the coastal states. They were in Bombay, they were in Madras, they were in Calcutta region. So British focus was focused only on, or British was focused only on coastal states. But now the necessity is we want development in the internal regions also. So the problems were industrial development was pretty limited. There were no industries in the overall scenario. Industries were not there. Agriculture was bad. Poverty was bad. And infrastructure was not there. So in this entire scenario, what our leadership, our Prime Minister and all thought was, let us go for the overall scenario where government will sit and plan. Government will decide what is good for the country, what is bad for the country, what is needed for the country. Government will sit and decide, and the overall private players and the overall industry, they will continue to follow. This was the original plan. So as a part of it, the ideas were to improve the bad industrialization, to improve agriculture, reduce poverty and improve infrastructure. So this was the problem with which we came in, and because to solve all these problems, the solution that they thought was that we will go with the 5-year plans. And along with the 5-year plans, the other needs that they wanted, that India wanted, was we wanted self-reliance. Because what happened was, India got independence and very soon India had to face a lot of wars. So India on one side was facing wars, and India was subjected to pressure. It was subjected to geopolitical situation. Because the prima facie, the primary reason behind partition, the primary reason behind creating Pakistan in itself was United Kingdom or the other Western powers would have a place, a space in the subcontinent for them to control the larger Indian landmass or larger Indian population. So we were not allowed to take on Pakistan on our terms. We were subjected to political pressures. We were denied technologies. All these things gave us an opinion. It gave a clear-cut opinion that we wanted self-reliance. And if we want self-reliance, which is Atmanirbhar, the title that we still speak of today, the self-reliance, and if we wanted domestic industries, we want our own industries. And back then what was happening is, India was heavily dependent upon UK for all sorts of imports. The British period did only, the one major thing that British period did to India was, they converted India into a market. They converted India into a simple consumer market. Because of this particular scenario, India was heavily dependent upon United Kingdom and we were importing everything. So the overall plan is, we wanted self-reliance, We don't want to import things. We want to manufacture them by ourselves, and we want indigenous capacities. So this was the major problem. These are the major objectives, and as I told you, we wanted to balance everything. Okay, just a second, this is not me. Yeah, we wanted to balance out everything, right? We wanted to balance out everything. We wanted to balance agriculture because agriculture is equally important. We wanted industry as well, right? Because see, agriculture will lead to rural empowerment. Industries would lead to semi-urban empowerment and urban empowerment. And to support all these things, we wanted infrastructure, right? So this was the overall plan. And of course, we wanted to reduce our inequalities also. So to summarize, Indian planning, the objectives were very clear. The first objective, primary objective, is of course growth of the country, self-reliance, modernization, and equity. What is the meaning of equity, by the way? Can you tell me? Just a second. Chandu, come in. Chandu.
చెప్పండి బ్రో.
సంజయ్ హెడ్ సిద్ధి మెయిల్కి ప్రాంప్ట్స్ పంపిస్తున్నాడు, అది నా ట్యాబ్లోకి వస్తుందని చెప్పారా? లైవ్ అవుతుంది, ఆ ప్రాంప్ట్స్ అన్ని బోర్డులో కనిపిస్తుంది. Okay. Yeah, please tell me, what is equity? Please tell me, what do you think is equity? There is a word on the board here, that is equity. Please tell me, what is equity versus equality? No, both are not same. Equity and equality are definitely not same. Fairness in justice and distribution, okay. Right, I'll draw a simple diagram to help you remember equity forever. Okay, this is a stool and this is a wall. There is one person, there is one more person, and there is one more person, right? The drawing that is there on the board right now, this is equality. Consider this as a wall, and these people have to see what is happening on the other side of the wall, and there are three different people of three different heights. You provided them a same base. This is called as equality. Then what is equity? Equity is very interesting. Equity is, for example, if this is the wall and this is the shortest guy, you give them the biggest stool, and this is the tallest guy, you give them short stool. This is equity. This is equality. This one diagram is more than enough for you to understand what is equity versus equality. I hope this is clear to you. Equity is about fairness, equality in distribution, prevention of concentration of wealth in one single individual. You don't want one person to grow, you want everybody to grow together, right? This is called as equity versus equality. I hope after this diagram you will never forget what is equity versus equality. So the plan is we wanted equity and all. Now you please try this question. This is one question that was there, that was asked in CGL 2025. Try this question. A, B, you have answer choices A, B, C, D. Please try this. What was the main rationale for import substitution during the first 7 5-year plans? Why did you want to have import substitution? Yes, you wanted to protect domestic industries. We did not want domestic industries to be impacted by the foreign industries. So we thought, let us stop importing. Let us buy from our own people. Right? Very good. Everybody is correct. Right? You try this question. Please try this question as well. Based on whatever we discussed till now, please handle this question. B, very good, nice. So this is the overall introduction to 5-year plans and goals. See, now we know that 5-year plans are there. We know that 5-year plans are to be implemented. But what are the institutions? Institutions as in, what are those organizations that will implement this entire plan? Who will implement this plan? Who will create the plan? Who will decide what is the final plan? This is called as institutions. And in India, two institutions were created to implement 5-year plans. First institution is known as Planning Commission. Second institution is known as National Developmental Council. So two institutions were created. One is Planning Commission, second is National Developmental Council. Now in the exam, they will ask you, is Planning Commission a constitutional body, or is it a statutory body, or is it an executive body? So you tell me, what is a statutory body? Now that you are preparing for the exam and this is a revision session, I am not going to go into complete basics. So please tell me, what is a constitutional body? According to you, what is a constitutional body? Drafts, okay. Anything else? Give me an example for a constitutional body. That which is written, sir, what should be the possible dates of, please tell me. We spoke about this just in the morning, buddy, right? The body that is mentioned in the constitution, any body that is created by the constitution, mentioned by the constitution, very good, UPSC, right? Anything else? Election Commission of India, very good, very good. Then what is executive body? What is executive body? No, CBI is not constitutional body. CBI is statutory body, and the act behind CBI is Delhi Police Special Powers Act. Okay, Delhi Special Police Act. There is an act. CBI is created under that act. Right, Delhi Police Special Establishment Act, sorry. Yes, created by the executive action. So two bodies have been created in India to handle the overall planning framework. First body is known as Planning Commission. The second body is known as National Developmental Council. And for the matter of fact, Planning Commission is the body which was actually formulating all the plans. So basically, Planning Commission would sit, the people of Planning Commission would sit and they will decide what is the 5-year plan. For the next 5 years, what is our goals? And they will ensure that it is implemented. And in exam point of view, they will ask you, when was it established? And it was established for the first time in March 1950 through Government of India resolution, meaning it's an executive body. It is not any kind of statutory or a constitutional body. The dates of CHSL are out. Yes, I have gone through that, but see, that's tier 2 CHSL, right? Even your CGL tier 2 was conducted by TCS Infrastructure. Important notice of the schedule of examinations. JE tier 2, CHSL tier 2 is on 10th of April. Yes, I've checked the notice. Even JE is also right. These are paper 2 kada. Paper 2 was conducted by TCS Infrastructure. Most probably CHSL will also be conducted by CHSL Infrastructure itself. So let's see what happens. Okay. So you told pre to be in mid-July. Sure about that? When will be in mains? See, mains I can't really tell you. Even if it is not mid-July, at least till the end of June, I can assure that exam would be in the end of June. Itna to I can very confidently assure. Right. Now, as far as Planning Commission is concerned, this is important. March 1950, Government of India resolution, this is important, and it is an executive body. And in the exam, they would ask you, what is the overall composition of the Planning Commission? First person in the Planning Commission is the chairman of Planning Commission, and usually Prime Minister of India is the default chairman of Planning Commission. There is no other new chairman. Whoever is the Prime Minister, they will chair the Planning Commission. And then there will be a deputy chairman. Deputy chairman will take care of all regular day-to-day activities, right? And deputy chairman would be appointed by the Prime Minister. Then there are certain members and member secretary is there to take care of day-to-day activities also, right? This is the overall structure. In the exam, the one thing that they can ask you in the exam is from this particular point. Who is the default chairman of Planning Commission? The default chairman is Prime Minister himself, right? So this is about the composition of Planning Commission and how are they appointed. It's simple, one line answer. They will be appointed by Government of India, which means Prime Minister and Council of Ministers together will determine who would be the chairman of Planning Commission. Now what are the functions? Functions are pretty simple. The objective is to create a 5-year plan. So they will create a 5-year plan and they will see what is available, what is not available. See, in a simple terminology, when Planning Commission was there in India, Planning Commission objective was to take care of entire country's economic activity. In a way, they would decide every single step of economic activity. They will decide where an industry has to be opened, which sector will be promoted by government in that particular year or in that 5-year plan, which sector will not be given any new space to grow, which company would be allowed to grow. All these kind of things were decided by Planning Commission itself. This is Planning Commission. Then there is one more body which is known as National Developmental Council. Okay, this body was also created. Now the problem of creating this body is, please see this particular image and try to tell me who is missing in Planning Commission. Who is missing in the entire Planning Commission structure? In the entire structure of Planning Commission, who is missing? I am looking for your answers. Finance Minister, States, nice, who's that? Sandhya, right. States are missing. See, if you take a look at the entire Planning Commission structure, Planning Commission is more or less a central governmental body. States are missing. You need another body. Yes, it is more or less IAS officers and all who are running it. So you need another body who will ensure that states are also present in the entire decision making process. What we need is states. So to ensure that the states are present, we have National Developmental Councils. When National Developmental Council was established in the year 1952, this is also an executive body. So Planning Commission is not a constitutional body, or National Developmental Council is also not an executive body, right? So it's an executive body, it's not a constitutional body. This is about National Developmental Council, and as I told you, states are missing. You have Prime Minister, Union Council of Ministers, Chief Ministers and Administrators. So in a way, for planning purposes, in India, two bodies were created, Planning Commission and National Developmental Council. Planning Commission was mostly filled by bureaucrats. What is happening? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Planning Commission was handled by bureaucrats or mostly IAS officers, whereas NDC was handled by politicians. This is the overall composition of the planning framework in India, right? Is this clear to you now? And what is the function of Planning Commission and NDC? Planning Commission would prepare the plans, and NDC, the object of NDC is only to approve the Planning Commission. Yes, along with that's fine. NDC just remained a rubber stamp. NDC would examine the plans, but it remained more or less a rubber stamp. And in India, there is one personality known as P.C. Mahalanobis. Okay, P.C. Mahalanobis or Prashant Chandra Mahalanobis. He is seen as the father of 5-year plans in India, or the architect of the overall 5-year plan mechanism in India. This is important. Now you try this question. This is your question. What is the answer? Who is the architect of planning in India? Who is the architect of planning in India? Yeah, see, of course, Planning Commission members would be there. History is going to take time in Astra series. I'm sorry if I've mispronounced. History takes time. I've completed history in GS classes. So, I mean, modern history is completed. A part of ancient history is left out. I'm doing it there. Right? So, in Astra series, it takes a lot of time for history. Right. Architect of Indian planning is P.C. Mahalanobis. Very good. What about next question? Which body was set up to approve 5-year plans? This is a Delhi police question. Right? What is the answer? National Developmental Council. Very good. So after the class is completed, in your notes, you can click on the link that is here. When you click the link, you can attempt the quiz that is there, right? This is the class link. If you miss out next time, this is your class link, and this is the quiz link. Make sure you write a test, because in the test also we are giving only PYQs that were asked in 2025. In the class I can't bring up all the PYQs, right? So we are giving PYQs in the form of tests. Make sure you write tests after the class. Now we will talk about economic models of 5-year plans. See, in the entire 5-year plans topic or the chapter, there are two economic models on which they are asking questions. One model is called as Harrod-Domar model and the other model is called as Mahalanobis model. So basically these 5-year plans or these economic models will tell us what is the priority of that particular plan. So the first model is known as Harrod-Domar model, and Harrod-Domar model, the model was given by two personalities, Harrod and Domar. What they believe is, if you want economic growth, you need money, right? If you want any kind of, just a minute, yeah. If you want any kind of economic growth, you need lot of money. And how do you get the money from? Simple. What Harrod-Domar model says is, if you want money, you have to bring in savings. Every individual people should come to bank. They should save money in the bank. That would mobilize all the money, and when they save so much amount of money in the bank, this saving will become investment, and this investment will be used as capital, and this capital will lead to economic growth. This is a belief, this is the theory that was given by Harrod-Domar model. So Harrod-Domar model talks about savings, investment and economic growth, right? You have to start with savings. When savings increase, you will get investment, and when there is investment, you can form capital, and when there is capital, you will obviously have very good economic growth. This is known as Harrod-Domar model. The name is 5-year plan because the plan is for 5-year period. Now you tell me, if I want to implement my 5-year plan based on Harrod-Domar model, what is the sector that I will focus upon? There are 3 sectors in the Indian economy which we studied about in our first class itself. 3 sectors: primary sector or agriculture for that matter, secondary sector or industry for that matter, and tertiary sector. Now, if I want to implement Harrod-Domar model, if I want to get lot of savings from the people, and if I want people to save a lot of money, large number of people to save money, what is the sector that I should focus upon? Primary, agriculture, very good, nice. So Harrod-Domar model constantly gave emphasis upon agriculture, right? So Harrod-Domar model says we want increase in savings, and savings would become investment, then you have production capacity, which means all this is possible when you have agriculture, when you have rural development, when you have irrigation facilities, etc. So India's first 5-year plan was based on Harrod-Domar model. Because of this, we went for agriculture, and we went for rural infrastructure, and we wanted rural infrastructure, so India went for large irrigation projects, multi-purpose valley projects, Bhakra Nangal, right? All these kind of dams, Damodar River Valley project, all these major dams, Hirakud Dam project. This is the reason behind the first 5-year plan, right? You got it now? Why first 5-year plan was seeing this problem? Because India was a very, very naive country. At that point, we also had food shortages, and if we want larger investment from more number of people, money should be there in larger number of people's hands, and the sector that employed the maximum number of people was agricultural sector. Secondary sector was not grown, it was not there ready in India. So the government of India thought, let us go by Harrod-Domar model, and as a part of Harrod-Domar model, in first 5-year plan, India went for reliance, importance on agriculture, right? Is this clear now? I hope you will never mug up about what is a Harrod-Domar model and why India went for Harrod-Domar model in the first 5-year plan, right? Is this clear? Did you understand why we wanted agriculture as our first priority in the first 5-year plan? Right? Please don't mug up anything. Now the next model is called as Mahalanobis model. What Mahalanobis says is, Mahalanobis is slightly opposite to Harrod-Domar. Mahalanobis is a person who believes in concentration, centralization. So what Mahalanobis says is, go for heavy industries, go for large industries, steel, cement, iron, coal, thermal power plants, go for those kind of industries, because these kind of industries Number one, they will employ larger number of people. If there is one ONGC, that one ONGC will employ large sections of people, more and more number of people. Next, heavy industries can produce capital goods. If you are producing capital goods within the country, what is the major advantage? Let's say I want to establish a car assembly line, but if there is no industry in the country that would produce car assembly line machines, or any company that would produce lathe machines, larger machines, then that would impact the other industries also, right? When there are no capital goods, if I want to import my capital goods itself, then I can't establish new industries in this country. So what Mahalanobis says is, go for heavy industries, establish heavy industries, then go for capital goods from these, so that if capital goods are available, we will have new industries coming up, which leads to industrial expansion, right? So this is known as Mahalanobis model. So Mahalanobis model was primarily focused upon heavy industries, followed by capital goods, industrial expansion, and he said there would be long-term growth. And second 5-year plan onwards, India started giving focus to Mahalanobis model. So in the exam, they would ask you, which 5-year plan? Harrod-Domar model, first 5-year plan. Which 5-year plan? Mahalanobis model, second 5-year plan. Which 5-year plan gave higher importance to heavy industries? Again, second 5-year plan. Which 5-year plan gave importance to larger irrigation projects? First 5-year plan. So this is how they are going to ask you the questions. And Mahalanobis strategy was on heavy industries, capital goods, and public sector, that is government organizations or government sector, government companies should lead industrial development, right? So this is the whole story. Harrod-Domar model, first 5-year plan. Mahalanobis model was the second 5-year plan, right? These two models are very important. These two models have actually worked, right? Both the models worked very well. Both, first model was important because we wanted food. Without food, there is nothing else. And very interestingly, only when you have food, when you have agriculture, agricultural surplus will act as input to industry. So obviously, first phase, you want Harrod-Domar model to be successful. You want agricultural surplus, so that when you have this surplus, you can use the surplus as raw material in the industry, right? When you can use this, then only then your industrial sector or secondary sector would grow. So this is about first and second 5-year plans and the overall Harrod-Domar model and Mahalanobis model. Do you have any questions in this? Any questions still here? Today I tried to shift from right to left so that it will be clear and visible to you. Okay, now in the next part of the discussion, we will understand how planning has evolved in India, as in how did we move from one sector to the other sector. So before I discuss about 5-year plan evolution, please tell me, let us quickly recollect what are the problems that are there in Indian economic system before 5-year plans, right? Please tell me, I'll write it. Yeah, tell me what are the problems that you know. First problem, what are the problems that were there on Indian system? Agriculture, very good. Agriculture was bad. We discussed about this, so you can consider that this is an active recall. Yes, import dependency, very good. Poverty, lack of investment, unemployment, very good. Infrastructure, nice. Infrastructure is also perfect. Anything else? Lower income, industrial development, no industries. So these are major problems. Now if you take a look at the 5-year plans one by one, we look at a very, very decent and appreciable chronological order, right? We see that Indian 5-year plans have been created in a very good chronological order. For example, the first 5-year plan, the first part of the overall 5-year plan, the focus was more on agriculture. Focus was more on agricultural stabilization and the overall recovery of the economy. Right? To develop agriculture, we went for large irrigation projects. We went for rural infrastructure, and we thought in villages, if we want development, we can have community models. What is the example of a community model is, for example, if you are from Telugu states, there is a program here called as Dwakra groups, right? Female or women organizations, we can politely call them as women organizations or self-help groups, women empowerment organizations, where they would come together and they would pool money and they would start some MSME kind of a business, etc. This is called as community development. So we wanted expansion of agriculture, so we went for irrigation, rural infrastructure and community based programs. In the exam they will ask you these 3 projects. They could ask you which of the following projects were created as a part of first 5-year plan. There are 3 major projects that are created. First project is Hirakud Dam. Hirakud Dam is in the region of Orissa, right? It is on Mahanadi river in Odisha. In fact, the river was not drawn properly. The map is not correct. This is Hirakud Dam. This is wrong. Don't go by the AI image. Right? This is Orissa, Hirakud Dam, Mahanadi river. The next river that is important is Bhakra Nangal project. Bhakra Nangal project is in Himachal Pradesh. It is on river Sutlej on Himachal Pradesh. Then they will ask you Damodar Valley project. Damodar Valley project is in the state of Jharkhand. Again, don't go by the AI image. That's why I've written in the text over here. They will ask you dam, state and river. 3 are important. The reason why we went for this is simple. We wanted irrigation so that we can ensure that water is available to larger lands, and when water is available to so many people, it is pretty easy for them to increase food production, right? So these 3 are important. Second plan. First plan is over. Now agriculture was very good. Agriculture started to grow. When agriculture starts to grow, you have surplus in agriculture, right? For example, you might have surplus cotton, you might have surplus textiles, you might have surplus, let's say after you utilize sugarcane, the waste is there. All these agricultural waste and agricultural produce is a surplus. When you have agricultural surplus, this is when you have to shift towards industrialization. This is the ideal way of growth. If you take a look at Chinese economic growth model, even China also grew based on the same model. Initially, yes, they have invested heavily in agriculture. After the agriculture has grown, then state has actively supported industrialization. State has encouraged entrepreneurs. State constantly promoted exports in China. So it was to the point where if a company was making a lot of exports, Chinese government started giving them input subsidies. And they were able to flood international markets with their cheaper prices. For example, manufacturing, this is of course a Chinese stylus. So to manufacture this, let's say it cost them 500 rupees. Chinese government would give them 200 rupees subsidy so that they can come to India and they can sell this for 350 rupees. So the first step is agriculture. Second step is industrialization. When industrialization is successful, that would lead to economic boom and the capture of markets across the country. Recently, even if you have listened to, I guess it was Donald Trump or Mark Rubio, I don't really remember the name, but that guy was telling that we will not repeat the same mistake that we did with China and we will not allow India to grow. So this is what he meant, that is, we will not allow Indian industries to grow, we will not allow India to capture the market. So the second 5-year plan was all about industrialization. But the only thing that was done differently in India was, India went for heavy industrialization strategy. China went for overall industrialization. Any kind of industry was allowed in China, any kind of industry was actively promoted in China, every entrepreneur was promoted in China, but India went for heavy industrialization. We wanted larger industries. But these outcome, the extra outcome of the problem, or the additional outcome of this heavy industries problem was, only those people who were able to establish and run larger industries, they could grow. The other people could not come up with smaller industries. For example, it could be startups, it could be drone. I mean, I'm using today's examples, of course. I mean, I can't just go back to 1947 examples, but in today's terms, there are so many small industries. but because of heavy realization, heavy dependence on heavier industries, that led to concentration of power and concentration of wealth in smaller sections of the people. So this is about second 5-year plan. Right, in the second 5-year plan, it was more or less heavy industrialization strategy based on Mahalanobis model, and the entire idea was that we will expand public sector. Let us have government companies in key industries, and it is the same thing that led to Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956. This is considered as the Industrial Policy Resolution of 1956 is considered as economic constitution of India, because that was a document which told what will government do, what government will not do, which industries will be established by government, which industries would be left to private sector, how will government regulate every single damn industry. That was clearly told by industrial policy. That is our tomorrow's class. Okay, we will talk about industrial policy in tomorrow's class, but the idea was that in second 5-year plan, idea was that we will expand public sector, we will have heavy engineering, capital goods, etc. And this notes, this part is important. This is match the following: Bhilai steel plant, USSR helped us, and it was established in Chhattisgarh. Rourkela, West Germany, Orissa. Durgapur, Britain or UK assisted us, and it was established in West Bengal. So in this manner, major industries were established and heavy industrialization continued. They were constructed in the first phase and these in the second phase. Hi Naman. Right, this is the second 5-year plan. Periods continued. First 5-year plan was over, second 5-year plan was over, and if you, like if you cut down the entire scenario, like you are in 1960s. What happened in India in 1960s? Two major incidents, if somebody can tell me. Hi Ahini. Thank you so much. Romeo Mate 7698. Hi buddy, thank you so much. Right, please tell me what are the major shocks that happened in India in 1960s? 1960, 1962, 1965. What happened? Yes, after economy I'll take up the other subjects. Yes, there are two wars. And India also faced major food crisis. India faced two major crises in the entire history. One is a food crisis. The other time is a balance of payment crisis. Every time we faced a crisis, we came out of the crisis very strong. The first crisis that I'm talking about is the food crisis. So India was actually importing wheat as a part of PL48 program from USA, and during the periods of 1960, India faced a lot of food crisis, and India was reliant upon imports. India had to rely on imports for food, and United States of America that was sending food to India, the food that was being sent, the wheat that was being sent by USA to India was actually cattle grade economic feed, PL480 program. The food that they were sending was actually animal grade feed was being sent to India, right? And it contained lot of sulfur, etc. It was not being treated properly. So that was a problem that was there. So finally, Government of India thought, why should we depend on someone for food karke? By third 5-year plan, the shift again came towards self-sufficient food production, or you can also call it as food security. So the first plan, it went for agriculture. Second plan went for industries. But by second plan, we had a war, we had no food. Because of all these things, we went for the first major agricultural revolution, which we call it as Green Revolution. This is an important question. In the exam, they are asking you which 5-year plan Green Revolution was introduced in India. This question itself was asked multiple times. Right? So Green Revolution was introduced. Basically, what is Green Revolution? Green Revolution is pretty simple. In agriculture, you have inputs. First input is seed, second input is fertilizer, third input is water. All these things are to be improved. For seed, you wanted high yielding varieties, right? Genetic engineering was done and they brought in high yielding varieties of seeds or new seeds, better seeds. Then fertilizers, India wanted to give better quality fertilizers. So chemical fertilizers were changed, input heaviness was introduced, insecticides were used, fertilizers were used, right? Because the HYV seeds demanded lot of nutrition. The seeds had lot of production capability. Because of the production capability, they demanded lot of nutrition. So the seeds were changed, fertilizers were changed, irrigation was improved, new farming techniques was brought in, for example mixed cropping patterns, right? All these kind of patterns were brought in, and finally India took steps towards food self-sufficiency, and all this happened in third 5-year plan. So third plan is known for green revolution. First plan is known for irrigation, second plan is known for heavy industries, third plan period is known for green revolution. These are the three things that are important. Just Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Lal Bahadur Shastri. Yes. Right? After this, there were wars and all. So for a brief period, there were no plans, which we call them as plan holiday. Plan holiday happened between 1966 to 69. This is also important. They will ask you in the exams, right? 1966 to 69 period is known as plan holiday period. They will ask you plan holiday, when is plan holiday. So over a period of time, now you see the chronology again. Food now is okay, agriculture is okay, there are heavy industries, and I told you the outcome of heavy industries, the problem of heavy industries was that heavy industries led to concentration of wealth. All those people who could establish such larger industries, for example it could be Tata Group, it could be Birla Group, anybody and everybody who were able to establish those larger industries, only those people were growing. The others were not growing, and India started seeing a K-shape economy. K-shape economy as in rich were growing richer and richer and richer, poor remained poor, poor and poor. Adani was not there, man. It was Birla. Birlas were there, Tatas were there, right? And Birla is Aditya Birla Group, right? Yes, those people were there. Adani was not there. It was more or less it was Tatas and Birlas. And there are some organizations who were establishing these kind of steel plants, etc. So India started seeing K-shaped progress. K-shaped progress meaning rich were going richer and richer and richer, poor were going poor, poorer and poorer. This was the problem. So by fourth 5-year plan, it is very clear that it is not enough only if we have heavy industries. See, the first 5-year plan was obviously approved by Planning Commission itself, buddy. Right? So it was very clear that it is not enough. Heavy industries are not enough. Then government thought, why not we take some money from these rich people and we give it to the poor people. This we call this as economic redistribution, and in posh terminologies this is called as welfare. In Marxist terminologies they call it as economic redistribution. In a polished language we call it as welfare. But Government of India thought, we want to do welfare activities, and social welfare is important, and that is when Government of India came up with minimum needs program, which means it is a responsibility of the government to provide basic needs. For example, it could be roti, kapda, makan. So these kind of basic needs, food, clothing, shelter, rural health, all these things are to be provided by the government. This was first thing. Then another program was brought in, which is known as 20-point program. 20-point program, the aim was very simple. We wanted to accelerate the pace at which we are reducing economic inequalities. We wanted to fasten the entire process of reducing inequalities, and that is known as 20-point program. And they also understood that in the entire country, in multiple places, there are hills. For example, if you take a look at the physiographical map of India, you have hills at multiple places, right? You have hills in this entire region. You have hills. Then you have Aravalli Hills. You have Western Ghats. Then you have Eastern Ghats, Khasi Garo, Jaintia Hills, right? Then you have Patkaibam, Naga Hills, Mizo Hills. You have all these hills, and you also have Rajmahal Hills and all. So there are so many places, so many regions in the country where, in fact, you have Himalayas all across as well. There are so many places where hills are there. And wherever hills are there, it is not easy to plan developmental programs because you cannot establish any kind of larger industries. It is very, very fragile with respect to ecology. you should come up with sustainable developmental programs which are in tune with ecology. You want ecological health to be maintained, and you want economy to grow, you want economy to develop. So for all these purposes, Government of India came up with another new program known as Hill Area Developmental Program. The idea is very simple. We will develop Himalayan districts, we will develop Western Ghats, we will develop Assam, and over a period of time, these were extended to northeastern states also. And the idea was very simple. For any kind of developmental activity, Government of India will give 90% of the funds. State government should come up with only 10% of the funds. This is fourth 5-year plan. Now you try to recollect along with me. First 5-year plan, what is the focus and why is it? Yes? Agriculture, food shortage. Second 5-year plan. Second 5-year plan. Heavy industries. What is the negative effect of heavy industries? What is the negative effect? Right? Yes. Yeah, I'll come there. Heavy industries are there. K shape, that's the problem. Right? What about third 5-year plan? What happened in third 5-year plan? Third 5-year plan, we wanted food self-sufficiency. Yes. Nice. So then there is a plan holiday. What is plan holiday period? Green revolution, very good. Green revolution ho gaya. Third 5-year plan, green revolution. Then what happened? Plan holiday. Why did we get a plan holiday? Plan holiday 66 to 69. Then for the next two 5-year plans, that is fourth and fifth 5-year plan, the idea is to bridge the gap. For fourth 5-year plan and fifth 5-year plan, the idea is to bridge the gap, take things from the rich people and distribute among poor people. This is for fourth 5-year plan and fifth 5-year plan. So minimum needs program, all these programs were introduced as a part of fifth 5-year plan. Fourth and fifth, the target is same, right? I hope you are understanding the chronological order that I am talking about, and you will never feel the need to mug up anything, okay? Let me write on the blank slide so that you will also understand. First 5-year plan, there was a food shortage. So we went for agricultural development. And in this you had irrigation. You had irrigational infrastructure and 3 projects. Food shortage, from this position India reached agri surplus, and because we reached India's agri surplus, we had heavy industries, and when heavy industries were there, there were iron and steel industries, and all these industries were established. But this led to differences between rich and poor. This is rich, this is poor. These differences were there, and at the same time India had wars. Wars was a period when we had food crisis. So for a brief period we came back to agriculture. So we went for green revolution. Green revolution was successful, but there were wars. So for 3 years period, 1966 to 69, we had plan holiday. Now after this, the stark problem that India was facing was very simple. One, rich were going very rich and poor were becoming pretty poor. So for fourth 5-year plan and fifth 5-year plan, the idea was very simple. Tax rich people, and you redistribute money among poor people. It starts in fourth 5-year plan, it continues till fifth 5-year plan. So the minimum needs program that we are talking about, etc., all that was under fifth 5-year plan. We also have 20-point program, hill area developmental program, etc. Now you see properly, do you really think this model is going to sustain for longer period? Do you think this model will sustain longer? Welfare, do you think welfare will continue, or what do we need? Is welfare enough, or the real need of the hour would be employment? Welfare is not enough, right? We need employmental opportunities, we need employment growth. Wait. We need employment growth and employment opportunities, right? So, by the periods of 6th and 7th 5-year plans, we wanted employmental opportunities. We wanted to create rural employment. We wanted to create urban employment. Now the focus came from welfare towards employmental opportunities. So 6th 5-year plan and 7th 5-year plan, the focus was on employment. 6th 5-year plan, we went for National Rural Employment Program. In a village, if you want to give employment, what you can do is, you can develop community projects in the village. You can develop community projects, community ponds, water tanks, schools, lay a road, do contour bonding. You can do a lot of community developmental programs, and you can employ the people of the same village. When people of the same village develop a project for the village, they will have community ownership also. They will have a sense of ownership with the programs. So, National Rural Employment Program was created. People were given employment in the villages by building roads, irrigation canals, and all those kind of things, and community assets were created. One more program, Rural Landless Employment Guarantee Program. yes, it was easy. NG Narega is a very advanced version. It's the advanced version. The other program that was created is Rural Landless. So this program was specifically for landless people. Those people who had landless laborers who were dependent upon seasons. No. MG Narega and NREP are not same. Over a period of time, it was improvised. MG Narega was brought in at a much later date. MG Narega, when it was introduced, it merged all these things. It could be National Rural Employment Program, it could be Rural Landless Employment Program. All these employment programs were merged together and Narega was created. Both are not same. MG Narega was much later, right? Narega Act was brought in 2009. You're talking about 5-year plans. So all these employment programs were combined under same umbrella. See, when you look at the entire government schemes in a proper schematic manner, you will understand most of them are more or less merger of one or the other things. So for the 6th 5-year plan, over a period of time, the next focus that went on was for employment. Employment, it was 6th 5-year plan and 7th 5-year plan. Employment itself was the focus. Employment focus continued, and by the 7th 5-year plan, by the time we reached 7th 5-year plan, Government of India came up with new ideologies such as productivity, etc. Right? So 7th 5-year plan is not so important. And to be honest, after 6th 5-year plan, 7th 5-year plan, there was nothing much there. India was actually heading towards a balance of payment crisis by this period, because India had a larger problem of licensing mechanisms. Indian industry was not growing. We were not growing as expected, and corruption was rampant in the country. Okay, this much amount of state control on all the economic activities led to systemic corruptions, red tape mechanisms, bureaucratic hurdles, etc. So industry did not grow. Growth was not as expected, and India was slowly walking towards economic crisis, and that economic crisis boomed in the year 1991. So in the examination point of view, if something is important, it is more or less only till 6th 5-year plan. 7th 5-year plan did not have any impact, and after that we went for economic reforms in the year 1991. And to cushion the economy for economic reforms, to implement economic reforms properly, India went for 2 annual plans in the year 1991, 1992. We went for 2 annual plans. So one time it was plan holiday. Plan holiday was because of war scenario. Then we had annual plan. 2 annual plans happened, 1990 to 1992 annual plans were there. What tertiary sector? No, India concentrated on tertiary sector. India, to be honest, made that mistake. The mistake that we did was we concentrated on tertiary sector very early. See, in an economic setup, you have 3 sectors. One is agricultural sector, the other is secondary sector, and the third one is tertiary sector. What ideally has to happen is, lot of people are employed in agriculture sector. Agriculture grows, then you establish industries. Slowly, some of the surplus labor in the industries absorbed in the agriculture is absorbed into industries. Industries would grow. As industries grow, people get more money. Then the country would gradually move to tertiary sector, so that some people from agriculture, some people from secondary sector would get employed into tertiary sector. The difference between these sectors is agriculture sector employs large number of people, but employment productivity is low. Income generation is low. Whereas in secondary sector, you have large number of people, but salaries etc. are low. The problem with tertiary sector is it generates heavy amount of money with less number of population. The mistake that happened in India was India shifted from primary sector to tertiary sector directly without proper growth of secondary sector. Secondary sector, in the name of secondary sector, majority of the focus was restricted to heavy industries, large industries, and in the name of industrial policy resolutions of 1956 and all, the whole system constantly supported only larger group of industries, larger companies etc. So many MSMEs etc. all these things could not come up, and Indian secondary sector could not flourish properly. Right? So that is the problem. India focused on these things. It's not that India did not focus on tertiary sector, right? So this is the answer for your question. What is the next question here? Rolling plan, right? Rolling plan happened in 78 to 80 period. Yes, China worked on secondary sector, right. So annual plans were there. Then we had 8th 5-year plan. Remember, 8th 5-year plan is after economic reforms. So when economic reforms were introduced, India brought in liberalization, privatization, globalization. So we want better human resources, we want better economic reforms. That's it. Beyond this, they will not ask you any kind of growth of planning, or more or less questions will not be asked. Then we had 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th also. And after that, planning commission was completely scrapped because planning commission became a white elephant. It started dictating the states. The role of National Developmental Council completely became minimal. Planning commission was dictating every single term. It was not acting as a think tank, rather it became such a body which would control the entire economic resources of the country. A small group of body, a group of people were controlling the entire economic activity and the economic resources. The other ministries, various other things did not have their own independence to work on. So planning commission had to be ultimately scrapped. It was scrapped and it was transformed into Niti Aayog, right? So in the notes, I have given you clear-cut tables. This table is important. Whatever we discussed till now is the thematic conceptual part that will help you understand everything. In the exam, you have first 5-year plan, year, model, focus, context, initiatives and objectives. So in this manner, I have given all the 5-year plans. If you can practice from these 5-year plans, this is more than enough. At maximum, they will ask you till annual plans. Beyond this, the chances of asking questions are really minimal. The only question that they can ask is 11th 5-year plan, what is the theme? 12th 5-year plan, what is the theme? And they can ask you when is the last year 5-year plan was implemented. 5-year plan last implemented in the year 2017. Right? So this is the topic of 5-year plans, and this topic is more than enough. You don't have to go anywhere else ever to study 5-year plans again. This is a static topic. There is nothing new in this topic. Go through this table and the PYQ sheet. PYQ sheet is already provided to you in the Astra series group that is there. In Brahmos notes, wherever is there, PYQ sheet is already provided. So go through the PYQ sheet and that is more than enough. Just give me 1 minute. I'll open the PYQs also. Let me open PYQ notes. So no, PYQ 5-year plans and budget are not similar. Budget was separately produced. I mean, budget was separately provided. Just give me 1 minute. Ramos batch 2, GS ASTRA series, microeconomics, inflation 5. Acha, they have not uploaded PYQ PDF. Huh? Why, man? I will have to check it, but I still have one copy of it. I'll open PYQ PDF. Right. Okay, the question formatting is not really great. I'll show you questions, that's it. I'll show you the types of questions that they're asking. I'll ask our team to give you this PDF properly. They will give the PDF. Number system, what test? I didn't understand. What tests in number systems? I didn't tell you about any test, no? I guess it is available for multiple attempts. Right. See the questions. I'll just show you a couple of PYQs. Question says, Mahalanobis strategy prioritized heavy industries and capital goods. This is assertion. Reason, it was believed that investing in such industries will create long-term capacity. What do you think? What is right? A is right, R is right, and A explains R. A is right, R is wrong. What is the answer? A, B, C, Racha. What is the answer? Please try this question. Right? Okay, very good. Answer is correct. A is right answer. A is correct. R is correct. Both explains. So now what is the next question? Which 5-year plan focused on heavy industries? Which 5-year plan focused on heavy industries? Second 5-year plan. Nice. Very good. Very good. Next question. Let me show you the next question. See the next question. Assertion. Self-reliance was a major objective of India's planning. India wanted to reduce dependence upon foreign aid and imports. What is the answer? A, B, C, D. Regular. A is right. R is right. A explains R. A is right. R is right. A does not explain R. What is right? Self-reliance was a major objective. A or B? See, simple. When you are going by this, try to insert the word because. Self-reliance was a major objective because India wanted to reduce dependency on foreign aid. If you introduce the word because and there is a meaning, if it matches, then you can happily go with the statement that R explains, the reason explains the assertion. You know the meaning of assertion reasoning or not? You want me to help in that for a minute? Do you want any assistance there? Mahalanobis model, you know, right? This is a stupid question. See the stupidity of the question, you know. Seriously, see the stupidity of this question that they have asked. Okay, I'll tell you. See, in assertion reasoning questions, you have assertion statement, you have a reasoning statement. All you need to do is very simple. You imagine, you go for one imaginary word that is because, and you read this. You read it. If you feel it makes a sense, if this makes a sense and meaning, this means assertion explains the reasoning. Sorry, reason explains the assertion. Yes, this was a CGL question. 18th September, shift number 1, that's a CGL question. Okay, so this is how you handle assertion reasoning questions. It's simple. Right, next question. What was the main rationale behind the policy of import substitution during first 7 5-year plans? First 7 5-year plans, why we wanted import substitution? 1, expand international trade, attract foreign investors. Acha, we did this in our class, right? We did this question. We handled this question in the class. And we handled this question also. Right, you do this question. What is the main focus of first 5-year plan in India? What is the focus of first 5-year plan? Agriculture? Agriculture? This is again CGL PYQ. So I hope after this class you will not have any problem with respect to 5-year plans. Last question, please do this, we will conclude. Do this. Who is the architect of 5-year plans in India? Agriculture, you are right. Who is the architect? Perfect, very good. So I will ask our team guys to give you this PDF in a proper format in the same Astra series notes. You will get the PDF. Please practice the questions once and you're done. You don't have to go for any other source for 5-year plans. Whatever we discussed is more than enough. And in tomorrow's class, we will do two things. First is I had to do current affairs, which I did not do today. We will do State of Forest Report 2025 tomorrow. There are a lot of questions on State of Forest Report 2025. We will do this. And we will complete Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. There are good number of questions on Industrial Policy Resolution also. We will do these two things tomorrow. Right? See you all tomorrow. Till then, have a good time. Bye-bye. Bye everybody. The objectives would change based on the scenarios. See, basically what happens in a 5-year plan is you have fixed targets, but in rolling plan, if scenarios are not good, government can adjust targets in every single year. That is called as rolling plan. You keep rolling, you keep changing, right? You will keep replacing the targets, and it happened between 1978 to 1980. This was a period when in the 6th plan, basically in the 6th plan period, rolling plan happened, okay, before the 6th plan actually. 6th plan is at 78-83. Between that, there was one rolling plan. There it was actually by Janata government. A new government came in, Janata government did it. Right? Thank you so much. Thanks everybody. See you all tomorrow. Bye-bye. Yeah. Bye. No, GS doesn't have computer subjects. Sorry, no, I'm not touching computer subjects. Okay, thank you. See you all tomorrow. Hunter Bees, this is your first class, right? You are here for today for the first time. Please share your feedback. Which compilation? Arithmetic PYQs, the tests are ready. Compilation would be ready in 2 to 3 days. 2 to 3 days it will be ready. I'll post it in Telegram channel. All right. Okay.